Hello and welcome to the NFL Preview Show powered by Oddschecker. I'm Tom Julian, this is Ben McClymon, and behind us we have Jeff Reinebold, our coach extraordinaire. Jeff, you always bring in the opinions, no change this week because there's a whole lot to talk about.
Well, I tell you what, we talk NFL coaching, decisions, time management. There was so much going on this weekend, and so many guys that you can talk about did a great job, and some other guys that wish they could have those situations back.
Yeah, well, let's talk about one straight off the bat.
We were there, weren't we?
We were. Me and Ben were at Wembley Stadium for the Tennessee Titans, and they rode it so close with the LA Chargers, but they just couldn't get it done. Head coach Mike Vrabel decides to go for two right at the end. It's 2019, and he just can't make it work, Ben. They can't get over the line. Was that the correct decision from Coach Vrabel?
I think it was the right decision. I think they should have. They tried for the first time and they got a penalty, so it came back and they got to the 1 yard line. I think they should have run it. You got Derrick Henry, Deion Lewis just had a massive run. Jeff, should they have gone for it?
I think that you're right in terms of, was it the right decision to make? Yes. I think you want to play to win always. Certainly the way Mike has coached his football team early in the season, he's trying to build a culture where it's all about winning. It's all about doing what you need to do to win. You saw early in the year they won on a fake punt. They're going to do those types of things. I was, like you, Ben, a little bit surprised by the play call because you've got an athletic guy, Marcus Mariota, and I thought they would get him out on the perimeter and give him the option to either run it or throw it in, put him in a drop back situation, and there was not a great decision on the Titans coaching staff part. I think that there's criticism right now of Tennessee from a coaching standpoint. It's offensively. That football team is better talent than they're playing on offense right now, and that's really what's hurt them because the defense and special teams are playing one up.
Yeah, I agree. We were there, and when you see someone like Corey Davis had 3 receptions of 10 yards. Yeah. Like, surely they need to be. That's the number one receiver. Sharp had 100 yards, but they need to get more out of him. Mariota had 237 yards. They did actually run the ball quite well. Lewis had a massive run late in the game, which went full on beast mode. But where do they need to get more? Do they need to get more out of the running game? That's their old style. Get back into that, or do they need to find a passing game and then utilize that?
Well, and they're good. They got good players. Ben Jones, Island One. They got good players up on the offensive line. I mean, I tell you what, the Giants would trade the offensive line right now, and most of the teams in the NFL would for that Titan offensive line. But as good as they are, they're not scoring. They're not moving the ball like they should. They're not running the ball consistently, and Mariota has struggled in the pass game. So they've got to find answers. They better find them fast because they still have a chance. But lose a couple more, and it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, well, they're on a 3-game losing streak, Jeff. So now back at 3-4. But only 1 game back in the South, and it's so close. They're 7-1 to still win the AFC South, so they're still more than capable of doing it. Though you go up against the Jags, the Texans. Who do you think's got the lead in the South right now, in your opinion?
The Colts aren't out of it either.
The Colts are still
I think the Texans are on a nice winning run. Their defense is coming through. I'm going to back them at this moment.
Yeah, Jeff, who would you pick out of the South right now?
I think if you look at the teams right now, that the most balanced team would be the Texans. They, as Benny said, they've started to play a little bit of defense. You're always going to have a chance with Watson at quarterback. And again, you look around and I'm going to tell you something. It's hard to find a receiver that's better than their guy. I just think that that's a team that's got enough at running back that they should win that division. I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl, but I certainly think they should win that division.
Yeah, well, they're 11-10, the Houston Texans, if you still fancy them to win the AFC South. I agree with you, Jeff. But if you fancy my Jacksonville Jaguars, you can still get them at 29-10. We'll talk about them.
Well, Tommy, you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about those Jaguars. There's a lot of swirling around that football team right now. You've got so many great, talented players on defense, but there are also a lot of them young, very emotional kids. And Jalen Ramsey's always just one foot away from causing unrest in your locker room. And Gakwe apparently had to be restrained after the game from going after another player. They're young, emotional guys, and when one side of football isn't doing well enough, you always run the risk of having a divided locker room and a fractured football.
Yeah, well, they lost to it was a huge game to lose,
Yeah.
27 to the Texans this weekend just gone, and there was a bit of a scuffle in the locker room. Yannick Ngakoue had to be held back, Ben, and then Jalen Ramsey, as you said, Jeff, came out and he said, you can see what's going on here, basically.
Yeah.
You can see how we talk to the coaches, which I thought was really disrespectful to call them out straight away. But he was like, you can see the divisions.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, this one's to you. When a team starts fighting in the locker room like they're doing, and Ramsey's calling people out so publicly, is this the kind of beginning of the end, or like how does Coach Marone save this situation?
Well, I think, this is one of those scenarios that if you're looking to fix it now, you're way too late. Because these things are always going to be part of football. Because you've got, again, 53, alpha males that are all with big egos, and everybody and their agents telling them how good they are, and the media, some do it on purpose, some do it unconsciously, but the media is always trying to divide football teams. So a case like Jacksonville, where they've struggled offensively, Bortles he's 14 turnovers, I guess, in the last 2 games. Your running back's hurt, you can't block anybody in the offensive line, can't score. Well, the media will go to the defensive players and, Jalen, you're such a great player. Doesn't it frustrate you to have the offense play their plan? And they throw questions like that at guys like Jalen Ramsey who say too much. Then all of a sudden you've got problems. And so these types of problems you address way back in training. Like you never see this in New England. Why? Because in New England, they educate their players, doctrinate them into a mindset that you cannot be that guy in the media. Creates division in our now. If the Patriots were in the same situation, would there be the same controversy? Potentially, yes. But they're not going to let it get into the media, and that's what happened. And whoever allowed people into that meeting, the media room, they originally opened the door to let the then after the cooling off period. Then the fight started. They had to shoot was out of the room again, and that was not handled very well by the media people.
Yeah, looking at a coaching decision, we talked about a few coaching decisions there. You're looking at Doug Marone said he benched Blake Bortles, who had 6 completions for 61 yards, as a message to the other 11 players because he couldn't drop them all. As a fan, Tom, how do you feel about that? Like, Bortles is supposed to be your franchise guy.
He's not though, is he? Because
no, but pulling him as a...
It feels like the Jags have been kind of slipping on the same banana skin for the last 4 years in terms of, with Bortles, they know what they have, and they had the opportunity to go for Kirk Cousins, potentially. Obviously, it would have been a very expensive option. They also had the opportunity to go for Teddy Bridgewater, who eventually ended up at the Saints. Would have made at least a competition for the Jags there. Jeff, to me, as a fan, I'm frustrated because it feels like I'm watching the same old movie, and there's never a happy ending with Blake Bortles.
Well, I think it's a combination of things, Tommy. We saw the best of Blake Bortles at times last year. But the best of Blake Bortles was when Leonard Fournette was in the backfield, they had the ability to run the football. And let's be honest here. The defense is underperforming too, but not as drastically as the offense. And I think, again, what's interesting to me now is to watch what Jacksonville does. Will they say, we're going to stick with our guy and finish the season out, then move forward? Or are you going to go out and try and get one of the veterans, like McNown, for example, who's not playing and would certainly be an upgrade to the way Blake's playing right now, not turn the ball over. I think that is one of the things that this Jacksonville organization, even if it costs you a second or third round pick, you got a team that has the talent to get to the Super Bowl. you're not out of it yet in your division. But if you lose again to Philadelphia, you could probably say goodbye to the season. That would really, really be a shame because that's a good football team. Not playing.
For sure. I mean, Coach Moran's got a job on his hands, Jeff, for sure. We'll come back to the Jags-Eagles game because I want to get your predictions on that. But I just firstly want to move to a couple of franchises that are, to be frank, absolutely smashing it, Ben, aren't they? The Chiefs, the Rams, and the New England Patriots. Nobody remembers that the New England Patriots were 1-2 anymore, Jeff, because they've wiped away the Bears, coming back from a losing position to beat a tough Bears team. And they're just showing all the capabilities of going straight to the big game again.
Well, you look at the Patriots, and I thought that the Bears game was a trap game, and it certainly was. The Bears jumped out to a lead. New England is coming off a very emotional game. They're on the road. There are a lot of reasons. Soldier Field's a tough place to play. But what they did is what great football teams do. They found another way to win. They return a kickoff for a touchdown, block a punt to set up a short score. Those things, again, it's amazing. The media doesn't really, this shows how little the media knows about football. They don't talk about that stuff, right? Well, the reality of it is those two special team plays turned that game and gave them the points that they needed in the end. The Bears finished 2 yards shy, a huge upset in that game. But in the NFL, in pro football, 2 yards shy might as well be 200 yards shy because it's all about W's. And they don't ask how, they just ask how many. And Patriots found a way to win, which is what great teams do.
Yeah, and it seems like they know how to win. They had the ball with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they ran the ball 3 times from first down, second down, third down, got the 10 yards, then another run, and at the 2 minute the end of the 2 minute, the 2 minute warning, sorry. Bears used one timeout already. They gave them 20 seconds, didn't they? That's
football, situational football.
Yeah.
Right? And they work in those areas. So it's 4 minutes to go in a game. You need to run the ball. You want to string together first downs. And when you have a lead, you milk every second. Did you see how well they handled the clock in that scenario? And then contrast that with what you saw last night with the Giants. It's amazing how much better coached they are.
Oh, the Giants.
I can't believe they ran it twice on the goal line.
Was a mess,
2 quarterback sneaks.
Absolute mess. And I don't want to get into the Giants too much, Jeff, but that really does highlight the difference, doesn't it, between the experience that you've got he's a genius, isn't he? Bill Belichick, there's nobody on his level.
Well, to me, Tommy, geniuses are, finding cures to cancer and, doing that stuff, but certainly is far, far, far ahead of the curve when it comes to understanding how to win football games. And not just him, because it's one thing for him to know, but it's throughout that organization. You look at their football team, they get in those scenarios and they don't panic. There's no sense of desperation. No, everybody understands what they need to do to win, how to close the game, how to come from behind. And again, why is that? Watch them practice. They practice all those scenarios all the time.
I mean, it's a marvel to watch. You're probably right, Jeff. I probably over-egged the pudding slightly there, but he knows what he's doing. That's all I can say. The Pats are 12-5 to win the AFC and 6-1, Ben, to win the Super Bowl.
We were talking about the Pats through the Jags at the AFC Championship game, 3 weeks ago, weren't we?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, not so much anymore. Oh, I thought you were coming. I thought you were coming for a point there, Jeff. Maybe it's the Chiefs.
I think it's the Chiefs.
The Chiefs. It's theirs to have. Jeff, just before we get on to the London game, I just wanted to touch on Amari Cooper's move to the Dallas Cowboys. A first-round pick goes the other way. Do you think that's good business for both sides?
I don't, frankly. I think if you're the Cowboys to give up a first-round pick for Amari Cooper, who is certainly an upgrade over what they have at receiver, but it strikes as an act of desperation by Jerry Jones, to me.
Well, so,
I've just spent the first round.
He's not performed as a number one receiver, and he's not going to get an upgrade in quarterback that's thrown to him between Carr and Dak Prescott. you know,
Yeah, I mean,
watch Dak in the game, guys, and his issue is accuracy.
I would say Amari Cooper's a three-time 1,000-yard receiver. You know, he obviously had a bad season last year with a lot of drops. I feel like his situation is better. He's got more of a chance, and he's also got a bit of an edge to him now. He's got to prove himself and get himself back up among the top wide receivers. Ben, how do you see this move? You a fan of it, or?
I think I could be, but I'm not a fan of what Jason Garrett is doing there at the moment. I don't think. I'm not sure how they're going to utilise him. If they'll just utilise him as a go man, or there's an early round pick on Gallup as well, who's not really. He had a lovely route this week, and that led to a touchdown. But there's 2 early round picks there you've got now, and Gallup and Cooper, and you've got Beasley. You need to get more out of them, Jeff. Do you think they can actually produce on the passing game now, or is it still on Dak?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Benny. I watched them very closely, and obviously because Cole's one of my kids, and he's performing
Very well,
really
yeah.
high level. He made some plays in that last drives against the rest that were just phenomenal plays. But if you notice, a number of times the ball's on the wrong side of it. You know, the one play on the goal line, if Dak puts the ball on the front side of him, he's in the end zone, and that's what great quarterbacks do. And right now, Dak is not throwing the ball as accurately as a great quarterback needs to throw the football. And they're not frankly protected as well as they are. They're underproducing. You see that all the talk of that great offensive line, they went into Washington and couldn't run the ball. And when you can't run the ball, and you've got Dak Prescott as your quarterback and that group of receivers, and you're very average at tight end, it really makes it tough on you to move the ball. Now, Amari Cooper being up, but again, we're also talking about a guy who has issues with his hands. He has, drops an awful lot of footballs. So to give up a first round pick, this is one of those deals that if it works, Jerry's a genius. But if it doesn't work, and you've given up, first rounder, and first rounders are precious. And again, it just strikes me as so many moves like seen Jerry in the past many that are moves out of desperation.
Yeah.
Because everybody's saying need this, and so he goes out. That's it. But look at their history, and it's not low.
Well, it's a boom or bust move, that is for certain. The Dallas Cowboys are 3-4 right now, and very close division, Ben, in the NFC East. If you fancy them to win the East, they're 16-5 right now. But Jeff, I know we've got a limited time with you because you're searching for your own playoff run right now. So let's get into our choice game of the week, and it's the last of the Wembley International Series games. The Philadelphia Eagles at my Jacksonville Jaguars. Not really at, because the Wembley thing fell through.
It's home for Jags.
Well, it kind of is home now, and the Jags are doing pretty well now. They've won the last 3 at Wembley, feeling good, and I'm going to be there to watch again. And they always do well when I'm there. They don't. I've been watching for a long time, Ben, and they were poor for a long time. Are they going to be poor again?
Against the Eagles, yes, they will be poor.
Oh.
I think the Eagles look good at the moment. I know they got turned around by the Panthers. They were up by 17. They lost it, but I kind of like the Eagles, Jeff. I think you might be with me with the Eagles.
Yeah, you know what? This is a tough game to call. I think this is going to be a really close football game. The Eagles, not only they're not scoring like they did in the past, they're giving up some plays on defense that just not at all like profile. So I think both of these teams are struggling. I think Jacksonville has a slight edge in it. They're going to London. They know how to do it. They've done it more than any other team. It's more in, they understand what it takes, how to handle the trip, how to handle practice, media, all that. Philadelphia, on the other hand, is kind of a newer thing for them.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit of an edge for the Jaguars, but until they get the running game going, it looks like Fournette won't play again.
Yeah.
And I think Jacksonville is going to struggle to score 13 points in the game, and if they can't score 13, I don't see how they win.
I think that's an interesting point, Jeff. You mentioned there about home advantage led, of course, by yourself, Benny. But you've got the Jags, who are underdogs here, according to the odds makers, 17-11. If you fancy the Eagles, they're 8-13. But the home advantage does give them a slight edge in one way. I thought an interesting bet this week, Ben, was the Eagles with a 1-13 winning margin. That's at 6-4. You quite like that?
Yeah, I quite like that, and I don't really like the Jags get a lot of points either. So Jags under 19 to 19-20, under 17 points to 17-10. They've only scored 7, 7, and 14 in the last 3. No point. Oh, what's your lovely fact about no points in the first?
Oh, yeah, the Jags, Jeff,
3.
I don't know if you've read this. The Jags haven't scored in the first half of the last 3 games. They're 57-0 points in the last 3 games, first half only, which is quite frankly outstanding. Jeff, just before we let you go, I just wanted to ask a little bit more about morale. Now having to travel to London, the Jags players aren't going to be happy with that. How much do you see that playing out in Sunday's result?
Well, what would be interesting to see is that when you've got particularly factions of your football team that are, against each other, well, when you're in this complex, you're there for 8 hours a day, right? When you go on the road, you're together the whole time. So these guys that are barking at one another right now are going to have to get on an airplane, fly in a confined space, go to England, be in the same hotel. It creates an opportunity for one of two things: either to heal some wounds, for this thing to get even more divided. So how Doug Throne and his staff handle this is really critical. And I think, frankly, this is where the general manager and Tom Coughlin, this is where Shah Khan, everybody needs to get with this football team and help them heal from the inside and recognize you're a good football team, underperform on both sides of football. So we need to all be going in the same direction if we have any chance of getting where we are capable of, which is deep into the playoffs, maybe the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, I think we're all going in the same direction here, and that's towards the Philadelphia Eagles, unfortunately. You can get Eagles minus 4.5 points at 5-4. I quite like the look of that. Jeff, we've got to let you go, so thank you so much again for your time. We appreciate it. Big coaching session today. You got a big game this weekend.
Yeah, we do. Tommy, we clinched a playoff spot last week. Now the Giants of Saskatchewan play the Rough Riders for a chance now to host a home playoff game.
Come on.
And you really want to have a home playoff game because to win on the road through the playoffs is a really difficult thing to do.
Well, we'll be cheering for you.
Yeah, good luck, Jeff. From
the Oddschecker offices, Jeff. Good luck. Have a good session, and we'll speak to you next week.
Bye, Jeff.
Appreciate it, guys.
Cheers. Thank you so much to Jeff Reinebold, the man, the myth, the legend, Ben. And it's not going to be too long before he's sitting right here next to us, because I like to be in the middle, because I'm the star. But it is now time for that point in the show where we smash you with some odds, with some stats. It's 5 in 5. You ready to go, Ben?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite parts, this. Throw some odds out.
Let's go. All right, let's start with, this is an intriguing game. The Baltimore Ravens at the Carolina Panthers. Ben, what do you think?
I think this is a real coin flip. Panthers are at home. You can get them at 11-10. Slight underdogs at home. Ravens are 4-5 away from home. But I think the bookies are right here. This is a real coin flip.
Yeah. Well, who are you going to back though?
I'm going to back the Panthers. I like the Panthers a lot. Maybe Panthers 1-30 points to winning margin, 9-5. I think that could be doable. Maybe we talked about this earlier. A little Tommy turnaround. Ravens at half-time, Panthers at full-time, 42-5.
You're trying to make that stick, aren't you, the Tommy turnaround? It's not going to work. I think this is going to be quite a good defensive matchup. Yeah. I don't see a huge amount of points here, so I'm going under 43 points. That's at 11-10.
Yeah, the Ravens scored 23 last week, the Panthers 21, so I think that's about right. Is there anything else you like?
I think if you are going to fancy the Ravens in this one, you've got a winning margin of 1-13 at 8-5, which I quite fancy. Like Baltimore Ravens, they're the best defensive team in the league, but they're also the 9th best offense, so there's a chance that they turn this one.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Highest scoring half, second half, 20-21.
Oh, and you're in. Well,
Tom's least favourite bet, but I've given it to you.
Very much so. All right, let's move on to our second of the 5 in 5, the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. Ben, this is an exciting one. The Chiefs are absolutely amazing. The Broncos are okay, but both teams put up 45 points in week 7. Where do you see this one?
Yeah, only conceded 10 as well, so they're both in form. Chiefs 2-9 at home, Broncos 11-4 on the road. Divisional game can be a bit closer. They played earlier in the season, and that was 23-27. The Broncos lost 20-23 to the Rams, so they can stick with good teams.
I totally agree with you there. So Broncos +9 is 21-20. I see the Chiefs winning this one. +9 is a lot of points, so I fancy Broncos +9, 21-20.
Yeah, I still can't see Broncos scoring loads of points. I think they're under 21.5. I think around 25 points for the Chiefs, somewhere like that as well. Over 6 total touchdowns is 4-6. They look like that. Could be about right. 3 for the Broncos.
I don't know if they've got enough in them, to be honest. I'm going for under 54.5 points. That's at 21-20 as well. And I also like the Chiefs under 33 points at 11-10. Because I can't blow teams out every week.
No, it's true.
Right.
They could do though.
Oh, that's it. We're done. I thought we had another minute, but obviously we don't. That doesn't make any sense.
Not the premise.
All right, let's move on to the third game. Another great game for you guys. The Green Bay Packers at the Los Angeles Rams. Let's go. Ben, the 7-0 Rams take on the 3-2-1 Packers.
This doesn't sound good, does it?
Oh man, but let's respect the Packers. Come on.
No respect for Aaron Rodgers, you're saying, is there?
Right, this is the most underdog that Aaron Rodgers has ever been. The Packers are +9. That is just crazy. I'm taking that 20-21.
Yeah, 7-2 they are to win outright, which is ridiculous. The Rams are 3-11 at home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the Packers +9. Why not? I think there's going to be a lot of points. Well, over 57 total points and evens. Fancy a few more. 59.5 is 13-10. I think there's going to be points.
I think you've got to respect the Packers because, I mean, going into week 7 just there, the Rams had the number 1 offense. Do you know who had the number 2?
Packers?
Packers.
There you go.
They've got similar defense, they've got similar passing. Todd Gurley is the real main man. But I think there's going to be a lot of points here. Over 57 points is even, so I quite fancy that.
Yeah, the Rams scored over 33 in every game apart from 2. So that you can get them at 9-10 for over 33.
Rams 1-13 points, winning margin 7-5. I like
That's
it.
33 points or more, I should have said there. I want to correct my stats. I'm a stat man.
Very good clarification from you, Ben. All right, into the penultimate for our 5-5 this week. The New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings. Another great game, Ben. I'm saying this every time.
Yeah, but this really is. There's a rematch element to this, isn't
Absolutely. The Minneapolis Miracle
digs into the corner. Oh no, the Saints threw it away. But I think the Vikings are going to win again. 20-21 now at home. Again, it's on a coin flip. Saints are evens away. I like the Vikings at home. Vikings are winning margin 1-13. It's 17-10.
Yeah, the Saints are 31st in coverage, so it's going to give Kirk Cousins a load of opportunities to find his favourite receiver and the NFL's favourite receiver, Adam Thielen. I like that. I like points. Over 55.5 points is 23-17 as well.
Yeah, that Vikings got 37 last week, so you can have them over 30 this week at 64. Again, something else I like. You want another half-time, full-time?
Go on, give it to me.
Saints at half-time, Vikings at full-time, 7-1. I think that could come in.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. A lot of points. It's going to be a topsy-turvy game. Drew Brees won't let it go, so I quite fancy that one as well. Bang on time, and we're going to finish with Monday Night Football.
An absolute classic.
Oh, it's disappointing, this one. The New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. AFC East matchup, but Ben, you've got the 1-5 Patriots versus the 5-1 Bills. Where do you see this one going?
I see it going with the beer. No. I don't really know where to go because I think the Patriots could kind of just stifle the Bills and just sneak out and, with the running game, get a win. Under 44.5 total points, 19-20. I like that. What do you have? You had the Bills under 12, didn't you?
Bills to score under 12 points is 2-1, and I think that's quite generous, to be honest. I can't see where they're going to score. They've got no quarterback. LaShawn McCoy might be out. He's in concussion protocol at the moment, so I just can't see it. Patriots minus 13.5 on the spread is 10-11. Do you want a little Brady fact here?
Oh, yeah.
In his time in the NFL against the Bills, he's 28-3.
28-3, and this is a terrible Bills team as well.
It's one of the worst.
The Bills' last 4 games they've gone 0 points, 13-13-5, so I think the 12's looking pretty good, especially against the Patriots.
Any more odds for us?
No.
No, we're done. Oh, you're
out of
on
time. You got to play the game.
It
Sorry,
was
guys.
Too much.
An absolute corker down here as well, but
Too
I'll
much
save it for
Brady
another
chat.
time.
All right, that's our 5-5. Ben, there's some great matchups this weekend.
There is. We've provided a few good odds this week as well. We're still doing okay over a little bit of a down week last week, but you've got the math there for us.
I've got the numbers. If you put £20 on all of our bets that we put out in our mini previews, which go out each week on Oddschecker Twitter handle, then you'd be up £334.
That's not bad. And we had a little, we had the Cowboys Vikings, Cowboys half-time, Redskins full-time, and they were tied at the half, and then the Redskins turned it around, so they were behind early. So we were close there as well.
Can't count those ones, can you?
You got a little nudge in there, not with the win column, the okay column.
Well, that doesn't really count, does it? It doesn't help. But make sure you keep following Oddschecker on Twitter, because we are putting these odds out there, and so far we're doing okay.
Yeah.
And if you like our content, make sure you subscribe to Oddschecker YouTube channel as well. We'll continue to do these previews right through to the end of the season.
The Super Bowl.
If you are at the Jags game this weekend, come say hello. We'll be there, and if not, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Cheers.